You've tried everything you know how to do.
You've removed your pop-up stopper and cleaned out all that hair, toothpaste, mucus, soap scum, and God knows what else from the top side. And from the bottom side, you've removed your P-trap and cleaned it out.
But that one drain is still backing up into the sink. You might need to use a plumber snake, and you might need a plumber.
As a dedicated DIYer, normally I advocate for tending to one's own household maintenance obligations. My motto is, if I can do it, you can do it. But if I can't do it, and you can't do it, well, somebody's got to do it. So that's why I'm going to call in reinforcements. This is my HomeServe homie David. He's a bona fide HomeServe network plumber, and he's here to show us all how to diagnose and deal with a stubborn, slow-draining sink.
So one of the first things we want to do is we want to lay down some paper towels underneath our sink to catch any water that may spill, and then we want to slide a bucket underneath the P-trap to make sure we catch any water that's about to leak. We have a plastic P-trap which is pretty solid. I can squeeze that, but I'm not the one that installed that P-trap. I don't know how tight those connections are up above it without taking it apart. That's the purpose of the bucket. If for some reason, while we're trying to rod it, if that trap were to come apart or break, that bucket will catch the water. And then our next step is we're going to pull the pop up. Once we have the stopper assembly nut out, we lift our trap up and out. And as you can see on this particular one, this stopper is full of goo. And here, let's take a paper towel, clean all this goo off. Sometimes you'll have a big hairball that's right here. So we have these little zip sticks that will stick in, and these will actually drop it in. We twist it, we pull it up slowly, and again we'll see that there's debris in here on the zip strip. Since our strip came out relatively clean, the next thing we're going to do is use this fancy gadget. So the tool we're going to use today for this project is a pistol rodder. We're upstairs in the home and we have a dual sink. When we hit the cross in the wall where the pipe drains, this little device on the end naturally wants to bring the cable down, so it goes down the drain so we can make sure that the horizontal portion of it is perfectly clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to start feeding the cable down the drain. We start our cable, start spinning our machine. Once we think we've gone far enough, or as far as the cable will allow us, we'll slowly start pulling the cable back up and out of the drain. Having the water run while we do this allows us to wash the cable off. If you notice, we're not really having backup now. What the cable will do, there's a little bit of hair that's on the end of it. It looks like some dental floss. So we'll remove that from the cable right away. By running the water while we're rodding, any of these smaller particles, as we loosen them up, will get flushed down the drain. Once that's done, we want to let the water run for a minute. Start cleaning up any debris that fell into the sink. And if you notice, if I divert that water just a tiny bit so it's not going straight into the pipe, it takes the maximum flow of water that the sink can put out without backing up. At this point, we shut off our water and we put everything back together. As you place it inside, always check once you put the rod back in that it's locked solidly onto your pop-up and not on the side of it. Wash any debris that's in our sink. So once we've adjusted the rod to make sure that the stopper's coming up all the way, we know that we can take the full flow of the sink by running water. I want to fill the sink up with some water like we had before. When I push the stopper down now, even with the water running, if you notice, it's actually starting to drain. The drain is more than keeping up with the flow of the faucet, which is exactly what we're looking for. This way we know that we did a good job and that this is going to last for quite some time. You can actually hear the drain is sucking the water down nice and fast now. And that's it.
So for the repair you just completed, what would the cost of that typically be?
There are several different variables that can be involved. the time of day that you're calling the plumber, if it's an emergency, if it's something that has to be done right away, if it's something that can be scheduled, the area where the job's at, the amount of travel that the plumber needs to do to get to your house. Those are all going to be variables involved in the actual job cost. But usually the average job cost is going to be in the description at the bottom of the screen for the average cost nationwide. Again, that can vary on the region of the country you live in.
Thank you. This has been great. We've learned so much already. What else should people know about this?
So one of the things as an average homeowner you don't want to do is try to take shortcuts in something like this. You don't want to try to be putting drain cleaners down your pipes because they can actually cause more damage to the piping and possibly more damage to the building. You want to have a professional come in and clean that. And even the plumber, if he does not know that you've got drain cleaner in there, you've actually put him at risk. If you don't inform the technician when he's out there trying to rot out the sink, he may have that water with the acid in it spray into his face, his hands, his eyes. If they're not protected, he can actually have damage. So drain cleaners, always bad, always taboo. They almost never work. In all honesty, if you can't clear it with the plunger, you're probably not going to clear it with the drain cleaner.
So now that you've seen all that, homeowners, what do you think? A DIY dilemma or a problem for the pros? Let us know in the comments.